Would you rather everybody love you for the version of yourself that you perform, or be your authentic self at risk of being judged? A few weeks ago, we talked about the nodes moving into the signs of Leo and Aquarius. Today, we're talking about where authenticity meets cringe. Audrey Hobart's Sue Me Tiny Desk performance went viral on Twitter this week, not only for the critique of her lyrics being seemingly vapid, her failure to conform to very narrow beauty standards, additionally for this 2-second clip of her guitarist jamming out. This incited an entire onslaught of backlash from people who just found his expression cringy, those arguing that these were nepo babies pretending to understand what real music is. We have lost the plot, people. Who gets to determine what is authentic and what isn't? And who are we to project our own definition of what real is onto somebody else? If Leo is the star and Aquarius is the audience, we can draw the conclusion that our response to the performer equally reflects something about the crowd collectively. So if our perception of authenticity is dictated by social approval, and somebody points and laughs in disapproval of a performance before the audience has a chance to form their own opinion, it's likely that the crowd will engage in groupthink and form a mob mentality against the perceived reject in an attempt to avoid feeling similarly isolated themselves. You're in on the joke rather than becoming the joke, or failing to agree with or understand why something's weird. Audrey's lyrics in the song ironically explore the messy, contradictory feeling of wanting to be desired, even when you know in a desperate attempt to escape insecurity, usually left with more problems. Minimizing this concept to superficial stupidity shows how we punish people for displaying the parts of themselves that we privately recognize as human if it's not packaged in the way that we like. But by expecting authenticity to be digestible in the way that we prefer, aren't we ultimately asking for something polished, edited, and palatable for mass approval? Judgment immediately softened once people realized that Audrey's music is already centered around insecurity, vulnerability, feeling unattractive, and things we all deal with. It had initially been mocked as awkward or unappealing, became evidence that she was writing very honestly about the vulnerabilities and insecurities that people were using against her. That realization seemed to make people second guess their cruelty and reconsider her as an artist. We spend so much time demanding real celebrities, people who haven't been surgically perfected, weren't born into billionaire families. The moment somebody appears human, flawed, imperfect, unafraid to be themselves, we are ready and excited to reject them. Perhaps there is a certain shame in confronting our own authenticity. It's much easier to tear somebody down who has the courage to embody the very imperfections we've been taught to hide. We might not love ourselves enough to take the same risk. We're going to see many examples of this contradiction play out in the public eye, with the Leo and Aquarius axis being spotlight into 2028. We're in a culture increasingly dissatisfied with art that feels plastic, manufactured, overproduced, engineered for mass appeal, while simultaneously rejecting the people who create something genuinely strange, experimental, difficult to categorize. We say we want artists who feel real, that when someone actually refuses to package themselves neatly for our consumption, we are often the first to call them cringe, pretentious, or untalented. 1, we might not want authenticity as much as we say we do. And 2, there's an internal push and pull between wanting the freedom to relax into who we are and the fear of being rejected when we do so. So we retreat back towards what feels comfortable, polished, socially acceptable, and then project that same conflict onto others, rejecting their authenticity because it confronts the parts of ourselves we're still afraid to embrace. With this Aquarius energy, being yourself is going to make some people cringe. Sometimes being unapologetically cringe is the coolest thing you can be.